I really wanted to bring something important to your attention. There is a really big problem if you are trying to learn to code on YouTube or any other learn to code site, whether it be like Code Academy or Treehouse or something like that. If you're the type of person that's really set on breaking into a career in software development and you've already started to do the work of trying to make this career switch happen for yourself and you've started to learn to code online, this video is for you. So maybe you've already started, but you're really not making the type of progress that you want to make. You're not as far along as you thought you would be, right? You're following the tutorials on the sites that you're working with, and you've already learned a bit, but things really aren't progressing the way that you thought they would. Maybe you picked up HTML and CSS really easily, but you're having really a hard time when it comes to picking up the actual programming language that you're intending to learn. Like maybe you're struggling to learn Python, or you're struggling to learn JavaScript, or maybe you're learning it a bit and you're able to really copy and paste code as you're going along with some of these tutorials, but you're not at the point where you can actually create using these tools that you're learning yet. You're not able actually to build a program in JavaScript, or not able actually to build a project of your own because it hasn't really solidified in your mind in a way that you can really use. So if this sounds like you, I'm not clicking my slides. That's a problem. If this sounds like you, don't worry, because this is really a common problem for developers that are really trying to become professional developers, for aspiring developers that are self-teaching online and want to break into a software career. This is very, very, very common. We live in an age where there's really an infinite number of different tutorials and options and online resources and things to learn to code. And if you just do a Google search or a YouTube search, it's going to return hundreds of thousands of different options if you search for like Python tutorial or something like that. So the problem right now in the age that we're living in isn't that there's not enough information out there. The problem is that information is not the same thing as transformation. It takes a lot more than simple information to make the shift for you to become a software developer. And you'll know that this is the case, that information isn't enough if you find yourself in some of these positions. I see this a lot. A lot of people end up wasting time in forums trying to get a really simple question answered, or they're throwing out comments for a course that they're taking and they're not able to progress past that point because no one's there to answer their question, or they're really just overwhelmed by the dozens of potential paths to take. It's like, okay, should I learn JavaScript, or should I learn Python, or should I learn Ruby, or should I learn Java or C#, or should I learn React, or should I learn Vue or Angular? People are just overwhelmed by the number of options and potential paths to take and don't really end up choosing anything, or end up switching back and forth between a bunch of different technologies, never really mastering anything. Or they're in a situation where they're able to consistently copy and paste code from their learn to code site or from a YouTube tutorial, and they're able to build something while coding along with a teacher, but it ends up giving them this false sense of progress because they're never really able to take what they've learned in these tutorials and put it to use in their own projects. Or maybe they're just not consistent enough with their efforts, right? They're starting different projects or different tutorials. They're starting and stopping these things randomly, ended up changing paths to new languages, to new options, and they never really stick with anything long enough to really learn anything. Or they're just not confident in the path that they're following. So if this sounds like you, it's okay, because there is a solution to this problem. There is a way in which you can overcome some of these things that you might be experiencing. This brings me to the importance of finding a good mentor. This is really, really, really underrated as an option and as a path. Many of us have been in environments throughout our whole lives in which we were able to have what is like a mentor in every single subject that we learned, right? You didn't go to high school in in pre-calculus or algebra or something like that, and try to learn that through just watching random tutorials. You had a teacher, right? Someone who could give you one-on-one individual feedback, someone who could provide you a clear path and direction, someone that could help guide you to the end goal, someone that, gave you tests and feedback upon your answers so that you could figure out what your weaknesses are in advance. And in my experience, finding a good mentor is so underrated, so underrated. It's a huge shortcut in terms of you getting the feedback and the guidance that you'll need in order to get to your goal of becoming a software developer much, much, much more quickly than you will otherwise just trying to do all of this on your own, and with a lot less stress and mental anguish, because asking someone who's been there and done that, someone that can make it easier for you, is such a powerful, powerful thing. So, yeah, finding somebody who's been through this process of learning to code, who's built their own portfolio and online presence before, someone who has landed their own interviews at software companies and eventually got hired on at a software company, has been through the exact process that you are trying to get through yourself, is so invaluable to helping you to switch careers. A good mentor can do so much for you. They can provide a clearer, structured path to help you to get to your goal of learning to program, right? They can show you that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be focusing on what you're focusing on right now, or maybe you should stop switching back and forth between different courses and just really hone in on learning React, because that's going to be the most important thing for you to get in your first job. Or maybe a mentor can help you to look over a portfolio project that you're working on, and give you specific feedback on a technical issue that you're running up against. Or maybe your mentor can say that, hey, maybe you should stop wasting time trying to learn, whatever updated features of this latest technology that you're focusing and obsessing over. And that might not be the most important thing towards getting you to a job. Maybe the most important thing for you to do is really hone in on your portfolio project, build something and improve upon what you have already, add a little bit more features and functionality to what you're building. Or maybe they can say that, hey, building another clone of, whatever social media site that you might be building in your portfolio, it might be a waste of time doing that. Maybe you should build something that's a little bit more attuned to your own uniqueness as a developer, something that would catch a hiring manager's attention in a better way. So a mentor can help you to focus on things that are more important, that you won't know that are important because you haven't been through this process, because you haven't learned the things that they've learned. A mentor can also help you to stay accountable and consistent to your growth. For example, I had a mentor first learning to program. His name was Dave. He worked at Groupon. We met every single Friday religiously. And just the fact that we had on our schedule booked a Friday meeting every single week at the same time really helped me to stay accountable, because I didn't want to show up to the meeting with Dave and waste his time. He was a senior manager at Groupon. This guy, I wanted to work at the company that he worked for and consistently hired junior developers at. So I wanted to do my best to impress him, to show him that I was doing the work, that I was an intelligent guy. And that really, just having a mentor kept me consistent to growing, consistent to putting in the work, because I didn't want to let him down and disappoint him. The next thing is emotional support. And that's really invaluable as well, because this is really an emotional roller coaster, and it's a long process to learn to code. Like, it's going to take you, I would say, at least 6 to 8 months to maybe even a year, depending upon the pace that you're going and how quickly you pick up some of these concepts in your experience in the past. That can be an emotional roller coaster if you don't have someone that can say that, hey, you're on the right track. All you need to do is just keep going. That can be so valuable to you, to really keeping you on track and on path. And last but not least, career support. And this was a big thing for me and my mentor. Dave helped me in a major way by connecting me to people within this industry. He helped me to review my portfolio. He gave me his connections and connected me to the right people. Career support from someone who's already connected within this industry is incredibly valuable to someone who has no connections in this industry, is maybe switching from something that's completely unrelated. Dave also helped me build projects. He helped me with my portfolio, helping me get past some roadblocks that I had along the way of building my own projects. me and him worked one-on-one and did code reviews of my projects, and just he made sure that I was consistently making progress in the right way. So that's really invaluable towards getting you actually placed into a job, by having someone who's already connected in the industry and can stick their neck out there for you. That was huge and instrumental for me to get my very first job in software development. It wouldn't have happened without my mentor. So this wouldn't be a useful video if I didn't tell you how to actually go about finding a good mentor for yourself. Okay, so there are a few different options, 3 different options that I want to share with you, and all of these are pretty straightforward. So the very first place and the probably the best place to start is by simply reaching out to your network. So if you have a LinkedIn profile already, or obviously you have an email account or a Facebook profile, I'm sure that you know of someone who knows someone within this industry, right? You know someone who knows a software developer. I'm pretty much willing to guarantee that. So think about any connections that you already have in the world, someone who can vouch for you, and reach out to that connection via social media and get them to connect you with a software developer. That's a really powerful way, because you know someone who knows someone that is a software developer. You're connected to a software developer indirectly. So simply reach out to that person and ask for an introduction. That's a simple way to get connected to a software developer. All you have to do is just start by asking them a question like, hey, I'm looking to learn to code, or I'm starting down the process of learning to code now. This is where I am. I'm looking for someone to formally help me as a mentor. Would you be interested? It's as simple as that. Okay. The second thing is meetup groups, meetup.com. So simply go to meetup.com. It's just a site where you can connect virtually with people from either your local city or really anywhere in the world, because it's actually virtual. And you can attend groups about the technology that you're learning, right? So there are JavaScript meetup groups, there are React.js meetup groups, there are Angular meetup groups and Python meetup groups. They're all types of virtual events happening in your local area, or even worldwide. So all you have to do is go to meetup.com, sign up, register for one of these free events, and start to introduce yourself to some people. I would recommend that you start to attend regularly, maybe once per week, or even once every other week is useful. And what that's going to do is going to put your face in front of people who are already working in this industry. Many of these meetup groups the majority of the attendees are developers who are already working within this industry. So by putting your face in front of these people and introducing yourself to them, they're going to be comfortable with you. There are going to be a lot more opportunities for you to ask them if they would be interested in being your mentor. These are good people to know, people who are in your area and already employed within the industry, people who see that you're a coachable person that's willing to work hard and that's consistently working and serious about becoming a software developer. There are a ton of people that will be willing to help you. The next thing are sites. There are plenty of websites that are built to connect you with mentors. So they specialize in connecting aspiring developers like you with mentors from around the world. There are many different sites like these. The cool thing about these sites is that they're often technology specific. So if you're learning Python right now, or Java or Ruby or whatever, and you need to find someone who's a little bit more advanced than you and can specifically help you with technical issues or technical problems that you're going through, or really whatever questions that you have, you can use a site like this. So I can't specifically vouch for codingcoach.io because I've never used it, but I've heard good things about it. So if this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and check that out. Also, it is worth mentioning that someone who is basically, if you're looking for someone on an informal level, like someone to talk to every once in a while or shoot an email message to or something, they're likely going to be willing to do that for free. But if you really want some value out of your mentorship and you want someone who is going to be able to meet with you consistently on a weekly basis or a twice per week basis or something like that, someone who's going to be able to provide real structure for you and some real guidance on a weekly basis to help you, you're likely going to have to pay for this, because many professional developers, their time is valuable. They already are pressed for time because their work is demanding. They probably have side projects that they're also working on. They have family and friends, so it's going to be a lot to ask of someone to take regular time out of their week to be meeting with you for free. So you're likely going to have to pay for that. All right, so that's really wraps up the 4 different options that I want to mention, or 3 different options. I also wanted to mention that if you're interested in working with me specifically, I do coaching and mentoring. And at this moment, I have 3 open spots for very serious mentees. Okay. And when I say very serious, I mean people who are focused and committed students. I don't have a lot of time in my day because I am doing a lot of different things within my own business and my own software coaching and education. So I really only have space and time for the most serious students and not too many. So if you're serious about making a transition into software development and you like the way that I teach, or you like the way that I explain things, you like the path that I followed, being similar to yours as someone who's pretty much self-taught and broken into this industry themselves, what I do is I offer a free one-on-one session. The first session that I offer is typically free. And basically it's just to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. And again, I only want to work with the most committed students. So here's what you'd get if you decide to sign up for a free one-on-one session with me. Basically, what we're going to do is jump on a 45-minute Google Hangout where I'm going to jump on with you and we're going to talk one-on-one. We can review code that you've gotten into so far. Basically, I'm going to get a baseline of where you are right now. And together, I'm going to help you to find and fix the blind spots that I believe are holding you back from progressing your skills as a programmer and eventually becoming a software developer. So we'll see exactly what is holding you back. The second thing is we're going to develop a customized step-by-step plan for you to get your first junior developer job. And the average industry skills that I teach are typically full-stack JavaScript development. But we'll develop a step-by-step plan, and the average starting salary for these positions is typically around 65 to 85K, depending upon where you are in the country and in the world. The next thing is I will give you the secret sauce techniques that are going to help you to learn to code faster and easier. So there's some things that you can do to really shorten your learning curve and take a more direct path towards your goal of not only learning to code, but in terms of building your resume and your portfolio, of being able to get your first interviews and really mastering the process of interviewing and impressing a hiring manager to get your first job. So there's some secret sauce things that I can teach you to help you to get to this goal faster. And obviously at the end of this call, if I feel like we'd be a good fit in terms of a mentor-mentee relationship, I feel like you're serious and really committed to this process, then I'll extend an offer for you to be a mentee of mine. And this is a paid mentorship program. So I do want to put that out there. If this is something that you're not really serious about or not willing to invest in, then this isn't going to be for you. Okay? So if you're interested in this, there are 2 things that you can do. You can go to softwaresensei.org/apply. And that's going to take you to a page that looks like this, where you can book a specific time in my calendar upcoming this week. And so we wait for this to load. So you'll be able to take a time that is the most convenient for you based upon both of our schedules. This is taking a little bit of time to load. But yeah, a calendar is basically going to come up over the next few days, and depending upon when you're signing up, this might not be here if I've already filled up these 3 spots, but basically you can pick a time that's convenient for you. Go ahead and book your call with me, and we can find out a good time to meet and to work one-on-one directly, and we can have our first call. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and go to softwaresensei.org/apply, which is on the screen, or you can even email me or reach out to me directly here on social media if you're on Facebook or YouTube or something. If you're on YouTube, email me. If you're on Facebook, you can shoot me a message through there. All right, so I hope this was very, very useful for you. Again, mentorship is the shortcut to getting to your goal of becoming a software developer. And if you're really serious about this, I think this is the best way forward for you to shortcutting your learning curve, to really getting some, not even necessarily with me, but with someone. Commit to working with someone that can give you a more structured path to getting to your goal, who can give you individual feedback, that can prevent you from wasting time focusing on things that you do not know right now that aren't important. Someone that can help you to remain accountable and consistent to your goals and your growth, give you that emotional support that we talked about, and give you some real career help that's really, really powerful to helping you to learn to code faster, to getting you into your first software development job. Okay, so again, my name is Robert, and if you're interested, I hope to see you on this one-on-one call with me, and we can talk about your career goals and how we can help you to overcome some of these roadblocks. So I'll talk to you soon. Peace.